Alright, here we are for Lesson 2, Solving for Unknown Angles Using Equations, Part 1. Alright, let's take a look at the opening exercise. Two lines meet at a point. In a complete sentence, describe the relevant angle relationships in the diagram. Find the values of R, S, and T. So the two intersecting lines form two pairs of vertical angles, which is S is equal to 25 degrees and R degrees is equal to T degrees. The angles S degrees and R degrees are angles on a line and sum to 180 degrees. So if S is equal to 25 degrees, then R plus 25 is equal to 180 degrees. If we subtract 25 from 180 and from R, we would get R is 155 or 155 degrees. Well, remember that R and T are vertical angles, which means they are the same, so that means T is 155. So in the following examples and exercises, we set up and solve an equation for an unknown angle based on the relevant angle relationships in the diagram. Practice the good habit of always stating the geometric reason when we use one. This will be a requirement in high school geometry. So let's take a look at example 1. Two lines meet at a vertex of a ray. In a complete sentence, describe the relevant angle relationships in the diagram. Set up and solve an equation to find the value of P and R. Well, the angle R degrees is vertically opposite from and equal to the sum of the angles with measurements of 28 degrees and 16 degrees, or a sum of 44 degrees. Angles R degrees and P degrees are angles on a line and sum to 180 degrees. So this is a complete sentence that describes what is going on in the diagram. So let's go ahead and do this algebraically. So R is equal to 28 plus 16. Notice how if we have R degrees here, it is the same as the two angles here, 28 and 16. Those are vertical. So in this case, R is 44 degrees because of vertical angles. So now in order to find P plus 44 is 180 degrees because we have angles on a line. Here is our line, and these two angles match up onto this line. So in order to find out what P is, we would subtract 44 from both sides of the equation, and P is 136. So notice the correct usage of supplementary versus angles on a line in this example. Supplementary should be used in reference to two angles, whereas angles on a line can be used for two or more angles. Alright, let's go ahead and try this with exercise 1. Answer exercise 1 and check your answer when you're finished. Remember to refer back to example 1 to help you out. Alright, you should be done with exercise 1, and this is what you should have. The two A degree angles and the angle 144 degrees are angles on a line and sum to 180 degrees. So therefore, if I have two angles that are A, which are unknown, that would be 2 times A plus 144 equals 180. And the reason for that is because we have angles on a line. So now to solve for A, we would subtract 144 from both sides of the equation. That leaves us with 2A equals 36. And then what number times 2 is 36? We would either multiply by 1/2 or divide both sides by 2, and we would get A is 18. Alright, let's take a look at example 2. Label diagrams is needed to facilitate our solutions. In this example, the label Y degrees is added to the diagram to show the relationship of Z degrees with 19 degrees. This addition allows for a methodical process toward a solution. So, angles z degrees and y degrees are complementary and sum to 90 degrees. So let y degrees be the measure of the indicated angle. Y is vertical and equal in measure to 19 degrees. So that means we would add z plus y to get 90 degrees because they are complementary angles. Since we know that y is 19, z plus 19 equals 90. We would subtract 19 from both sides of the equation, and we would end up with z is 71. Alright, so go ahead and try this with exercise 2. Answer exercise 2 and check your answer when you are finished. Okay, you should be done with exercise 2. And this is what you should have. Again, don't forget to write a sentence that sets up or describes what is going on. So angle EOB, formed by adjacent angles EOC and COB, is vertical to and equal in measure to angle AOF. So therefore the measurement of angle EOB is C degrees plus 90 degrees because they are angles that are adjacent to each other. Now that we know that, C plus 90 is 144, so we would subtract 90 degrees from both sides, and C is 54 degrees. The reason we can do this is because they are vertical angles. Alright, example 3. Two lines meet at a vertex of a ray. The ray is perpendicular to one of the lines as shown. In a complete sentence, describe the relevant angle relationships in the diagram. Set up and solve an equation to find the value of t. So the measurement of the angle formed by the adjacent angles of 26 degrees and 90 degrees is the sum of the adjacent angles. This angle is vertically opposite and equal in measurement to the angle t. So let y be the measure of the indicated angle. That means we would have y is equal to 26 plus 90 degrees because these are adjacent angles. So that means y would be 116 degrees. And if that's the case, t is equal to y because they are vertical angles. So t is also equal to 116 degrees. Alright, go ahead and take that information and apply it to exercise 3. Remember to refer to the examples to help you formulate your sentences and then also show your work to solve. Alright, you should be done with exercise 3. So here is one possible response. Go ahead and check your answer, and if there's something that doesn't make sense, write it down so you can bring it to class. Alright, let's take a look at example 4. 3 lines meet at a point. In a complete sentence, describe the relevant angle relationships in the diagram. Set up and solve an equation to find the value of x. Is your answer reasonable? Explain how you know. Well, the angle x is vertically opposite from the angle formed by the right angle that contains and shares a common side with 8 degrees, which is right here. Notice how this is 90 degrees and we have an angle that is adjacent to it. So that means x can be 90 minus 8 because adjacent angles, and they're also vertical angles. Remember, 8 is vertical to this section right here. So therefore, when we subtract, x has to be 82. The answer is reasonable because the angle marked by x degrees is close to appearing as a right angle. Alright, take that information and answer exercise 4. Okay, you should be done with exercise 4. Go ahead and check your answer, and if there's any questions, make a note so you can bring it to class. Alright, let's take a look at exercise 5. Go ahead and do exercise 5. Check your answer when you're finished. Alright, you should be done with exercise 5. And again, here are the answers. Go ahead and check them and continue the video. Alright, so let's wrap this up. In every unknown angle problem, it is important to identify the angle relationship or relationships correctly in order to set up an equation that will yield the unknown value. Check your answer by substituting and/or measuring to be sure it is correct. All right, we will see you in class.